Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
No, because the mayo warms the rest of the Hot Pocket to room temperature, and it's just a sandwich.
Okay, but that still has to take longer than just microwaving it.
It's about perfect room temperature, Tom. Perfect room temperature.
Right? And so then whoever gets their ship into enemy territory first gets their first pick of the resources on the next turn.
This is super boring. It's not boring. We haven't even gotten to the action phase.
We haven't gotten to the interesting phase.
Keith, tell Cecil how fun colonizing Mars is.
Heath. My name is Heath. You said Heath.
That's what I said.
You said no. He said Keith. You guys heard that,
seriously,
right?
Heath, this again?
It's real.
Wait,
he said
what's
Keith.
real?
Well, Heath has this crazy obsession that Eli constantly calls him Keith all the time, but it's not.
Wait, hold on. It's not Keith?
Are you fucking serious
I
right
thought
now?
it was Keith, too, all along.
Yeah.
It's Heath. It's
Wrote
Heath
your Christmas card.
and heathen, right? It's wordplay.
Wait,
It's
what
awesome.
is wordplay? I don't
get it. It's
heathen and right. It's wordplay.
It's not
with
good.
The two things.
If it's wordplay, I don't get it. But I do understand what's happening here, I think.
Okay, thank you, Cecil. God, explain it, please.
Keith is messing with us.
What?
And today's episode's on the Mandela Effect, so he convinced Eli and Noah to pretend his name was Heap.
Heath. It's Heath.
As like an example.
No,
Heath.
that's clever. Okay.
Yeah. You got to hand it to Keith.
Eli, Noah, will you tell him, please?
You gotta, Cecil.
Yeah, jig is up. Nice try, though,
Yeah.
Keith. That was a fun one.
Yeah, man. You had him going for a second, though.
I don't. It's not. Hate you guys.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm no illusions, or at least I think I am, and I'll be playing tour guide up this trip down counterfeit memory lane, but I won't be alone. First up, two men who were never Krang's henchmen, regardless of what your memory tells you, Cecil and Keith.
That is true. Okay. But when I pull up my shirt, I have a Krang pack, so it confuses everybody who sees it.
Yeah, and I do not pull up my shirt ever. For any reason.
Wise.
And also joining us tonight...
I won't even masturbate without a shirt on, if I'm being honest.
You're just in the shower crying with a shirt on, whatever.
I just wear my jizz bib. That's all I got to do. Is if I have that on, I'm fine.
Well, there you go.
And I'm buying jizzbib.com. Oh, that is taken.
Nope, yep.
Yikes.
And of course also... And of course, also joining us tonight, two men who, despite your recollections, never wore pointy caps in your grandmother's garden, Tom and Eli.
Okay. That is true, but I did stand very still while reading Manufacturing Consent to an Old Lady once, so... like, gnome is not a stretch.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You see, people, this is what you get when you don't make me make him go horsey, go clip clop. 1988 Noam Chomsky deep cut. This is where we're at.
Thank you.
I was irrationally proud of that joke.
I prefer the Chomsky deep cuts, to be perfectly frank. The Chomsky deep cuts can stay all day. Horsey go clip cop needs to go.
paradigm of flip-flop linguistically.
All right, and speaking of memory, we were looking over the numbers the other day. It looks like some of you guys forgot to support the show financially.
What?
Like, didn't pay on the way out. So I'm sure you probably meant to, but then we said something about sticking around to the end of the show, and you were like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. But then you were distracted or something, and you thought, C3 had 2 golden legs. I sure hope that wouldn't happen again. And with that out of the way, tell us, Keith, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Heath, and we're going to be talking about the Mandela Effect.
All right, so what is the Mandela Effect?
It is people forgetting stuff. That's it. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Neat.
Sometimes people
Well, that's
remember
a wrap.
stuff
Let's get dinner, guys.
correctly,
All right.
and sometimes they don't remember stuff correctly. That's it. But sometimes a bunch of people misremember in the same way, and that is magic. And that's the Mandela Effect. It's the phenomenon in which a group of people all share the same false memory. Also, there might be alternate universes that collided and quantum something science. Pin in that for later. Point being, the Mandela Effect is remembering wrong, but with a more exciting name for people who have dimensional Sherpas and stuff like that.
And spoiler alert, 99% of the time it's because white people are racist. So let's just get that out of the way right
That
now.
explains a lot of things. The Mandela Effect got its name around 2010 after a woman named Fiona Broome went to a conference and noticed that she wasn't the only person who was certain that anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela died in jail at some point during the 80s. He did not. He was president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, and he died in 2013. But all these people, including Broome, were positive that they remembered news reports of Mandela dying in the 80s, along with a televised funeral that included a tearful eulogy from Nelson Mandela's wife, Winnie. Yeah, they divorced in 1996, about a decade after Nelson died in this theory. Side note, Fiona Broome's area of expertise is paranormal consultant. Whatever the fuck that means.
Neat.
Dimensional Sherpa. Yeah, no, that strikes me as so fucking insane that this came up in 2010. Right? Because, you know, Mandela did some super significant shit after the
I know, you have to be so stupid. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we would be like thinking Obama died in 2004.
Which is obviously ridiculous because it took until the mid 2016 to fully kill off Obama.
Right. Yeah, they put it in the replacement Obama.
That's right.
So the Mandela Effect is actually just a new title for something we've known about for a long time: false memory, also known as being wrong. And one of the early pioneers in the field was actually Sigmund Freud. And that tracks because Freud was wrong about pretty much everything he said. And he was swimming around in piles of cocaine like a fucking gravel factory. So, yeah,
Oh,
tracks.
hey, everybody. The guy who's super into incest porn thinks Freud was wrong about everything. That's a huge surprise.
He was, though. But the part of his work about memory is still being studied. And one of the major things we've learned is that manipulation of language can be used to create false memories. A simple example would be a leading question. Based on an experiment by Loftus and Palmer in 1974, we learned that if you ask people to remember a car crash and estimate the speed, like you show them a video of a car crash and you ask them, what was approximately the speed? They say higher numbers if the question has the phrase, cars smashing into each other instead of cars hitting each other.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's useful if you're ever at fault in an accident. You just get out like, oh, sorry, I nudged you with my car pillow, soft cloud, oral sex.
Yeah, no, man, I tried that last time, and that turns into a very weird evening with more than one sore bumper after getting rear-ended. It's just very weird.
The same effect of language manipulation on memory can be seen in Freud's work. Imagine two different scenarios in which a person is being asked about their ideal sexual partner. In the first example, you ask them to remember their favorite sexual experiences, and then describe their favorite stuff.
Nope.
That
That is a trap. Do not answer that question. You don't want to risk. Nope.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're
Trap.
right.
True story.
In fact, make up some shit to say in case it comes up now.
Yeah. Get ready for that. It's a trap question.
It's you younger. Fuck. Damn it.
All right, I'll tell you, but don't tell your sister
Important
because
stuff.
I don't want Thanksgiving to be weird.
All right. So yeah, first example, remember your favorite sex stuff and then describe the favorite parts of that. In the second example, Sigmund Freud tries to hypnotize you, which is fake. He tells you to remember some good sex you had. Then he tells you to imagine your mom's vagina, and then he does 5 giant reels of coke and yells at you, describe your ideal sexual partner. So, point being, you end up with 2 different answers in those 2 different scenarios. And that's because our thoughts are made of words, and our memory thoughts can be molded by things we hear later. That pretty much explains the Mandela effect, except people are fucking stupid, so no, it doesn't entirely.
Now, we know your ideal sex partner. Would you rather be hitting or smashing them? Which would it
Oh, Cecil. Keith would never hit his mom.
okay.
God.
He loves that lady.
Moving on, a few other
Whatever, I'd hit that.
psychological phenomena, they also come into play with the Mandela
Yeah,
effect.
well, we'd all fuck Keith's mom. Raise your hand if you'd fuck Keith's mom. That's a lot of hands.
We're not on video for the official record. We're not on video. Okay, so a few other psychological phenomena also come into play with the Mandela effect. One of those is basically the movie Inception. You can implant memories. That's real. So apparently you can just tell people fake stuff about their past and they'll turn it into a memory. Psychologist James Cone did an experiment in 1997 where he printed up booklets that gave details about childhood events and gave them to a bunch of his family members. Some of the stuff was true, but some of it was made up. In the booklet he gave his brother, one of the fake stories was about getting lost in a mall and being helped by an old man back when the brother was a kid. When asked to recall the events in the booklets as best he could, the brother completely believed the mall story was real, turned it into a memory, and even created new details to embellish that fake story that he turned into a memory. Like, if the booklet said Nelson Mandela died in 1985 after a fist fight on the ceiling of a hallway, lots of people might create a memory for that. Or at least the part where Mandela died.
Well, now,
in the 80s.
you know, nowadays, if you make up a memory, you could get sued by Dominion for $2.7 billion.
Well, Lisa, or if you go around a psychic conference asking people if they thought Nelson Mandela died in the 80s, they might invent a memory where they know who that is and don't seem as racist. You know, so you have a title for your book. There's also a possibility.
Can I say my favorite part about the James Cohen experiment that has nothing to do with anything? He's got one Noah uncle in that thing who he gives the book, and he's like, why would you make up these fucking photos? You're an asshole, James. Are you a fucking science experiment at Thanksgiving? You're an idiot. I hate you. It's great. And he had to write it all down. He was like, called me an idiot, tore up a picture I made of hot air balloon ride.
Or did he give that uncle a booklet about being a skeptic?
Ooh.
Who knows? But if you're still convinced the Mandela effect is magical, there's still one question. Why would so many people from different parts of the world all have the same false memory? That's what convinces them. And the thing is, it's not just the death of Nelson Mandela. We'll get into a pretty big list of collective false memories in a minute. But even with the language manipulation and the inception, how would a big group of people who don't know each other end up with the same fake memory? And the answer is conflation and confabulation. Conflation, in this context, is when we merge multiple pieces of information and incorrectly remember them as one single thing. And confabulation is when we fabricate details to fill in the gaps of a memory without any conscious intention to be lying, but we're making stuff up. And we all tend to do this in similar ways, especially if we're given a similar seed of information. Like, for example, maybe there's a news broadcast about an African person who died, at which point tons of white people confabulate the one African person they can name. Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, I guess we should count ourselves lucky that we didn't all think Denzel Washington died.
Yeah, to be fair, most white Americans are at least a little convinced that Don Cheadle is a Rwandan hero. They're just...
Or at least a hotel owner.
So before we get into the big rabbit hole of insanity about how people try to explain the Mandela effect, here's the big takeaway about what's actually happening. We're bad at remembering stuff. That's it. And we tend to remember things incorrectly in ways that are convenient. For example, everyone thinks their plus minus on sharing their drugs is way higher than it actually is over the course of their lives. And everyone thinks they were way less wrong than they actually were during that argument they lost. And everyone thinks they, quote, definitely beat me a decent number of times at that sport or game. But no, they didn't. Okay. No, they didn't. And no, they weren't. And yes, they owe me a bunch of weed. Fun fact.
Okay.
I'm the only one who has a perfect memory. It's true. I'm like one of the only people in the world. And I did, in fact, eat raw onions after that one time ever that I struck out in Little League. That's all factual. Bottom line, our memories get twisted by social pressure, language, and our shitty brains. And lots of us have very similar brands of shitty.
Keith cried when he struck out in Little League, everybody. That's what he's trying to tell
Yeah.
us. He's trying to tell us.
You didn't even play Little League, but whatever, you did.
No.
So now it's time for some versions of the Mandela effect other than Mandela's fake death in the 80s. And just to underscore how stupid we are as human beings, I'll start with a bunch that don't even make sense for people to mention, yet they always include all these in lists about the Mandela effect. But they're just popular misspellings. No idea why we're surprised these exist, but Mandela truthers are fascinated by this. And yes, there's an entire community of Mandela truthers who believe there's some kind of metaphysical explanation behind the whole thing. For example, lots of people remember a brand name of peanut butter called Jiffy. It's actually Jif. They probably conflated Skippy and Jif. It's not that.
Okay, get ready for all those computer nerd emails. Well, actually, it's pronounced Giphy, guys. It's Giphy.
It is GIF, though.
Look, I know people are blown away when they realize shit like this. I have no idea why, but you also know that there's been at least one fight somewhere in Florida with some fucking shirtless guy with a tribal tattoo furiously chest slapping himself in a parking lot. It's fucking Jiffy, bro. Come at me. It's fucking Jiffy. 100% that happened.
Absolutely something that's happened.
Yep.
Hundo B.
Yeah. He died of COVID.
And here's a few other examples. Lots of people remember Looney Tunes being spelled Toons. It's always been Tunes. And Berenstain Bears has always been spelled Stain at the end. But a bunch of people are convinced there was, I guess, an ethnically Jewish family of cartoon bears named the Berensteins, Stein.
Steens.
Again, no idea why anyone's confused by this mistake. People can't spell. We know that.
Okay, well, the book, The Berenstain Bears Rebury Their Blood Gold, certainly didn't help the problem.
Their origin story with that bald guy is fucking awesome.
Right? Thank you.
Underrated.
Lots of people also get it wrong with spelling Febreze and Oscar Mayer and Skechers and
Oscar
Fruit
Mayer
Loops
has
and-
a song about how to spell Oscar Mayer.
It's literally a song.
No,
literally a song about it.
there's a
That's correct.
song of it. There's a truck and a song.
There is.
That is not acceptable.
Yep. Also, double stuff Oreos. Apparently, there's only one F. I actually didn't know that. But occasionally, the spelling actually does change. For example, Cheez-Its used to have a Z at the end. And then it got officially changed to Cheez-It
No.
with no Z. But lots of people don't remember the original spelling. And then they go on Wikipedia and try to argue with your post, and it gets really messy.
Okay, no.
So the company actually, they end up having to pretend they never had a Z just to make sure everyone doesn't get mad in the Wikipedia because it's escalating
Keith?
too much.
Did that really happen, or did you just remember Cheez-Its wrong?
Perfect memory.
Okay, not pluralizing your cracker name, though, is fucking weird. Like, hey, man, you want some Cheez-It? No, what? You just want one Cheez-It? You want one single 1-inch square cracker? Is that what's going to fucking hit the spot? Or are you doing some fucking Cheez-Its? Nobody wants a
fuck
Cheez-It.
A Cheez-It? Get out of here. Well, yeah, give me an M, too, and a Twick. Fuck off. 1M, asshole.
Yeah, so just a reminder, though, and I think this is a good time to underscore it. Mandela Effect is a term people had to make up so that I turned out to be fallible. Sounds like a profound psychological condition. And that's the good version, right? Because we're going to get to the people who explain away their fallibility with the many worlds interpretation later.
That's what's going to happen. Yep. There's another group of collective false memories where people they just don't know how to read or look with their fucking eyes. They're not just misspelling, they're adding stuff that's not there. For example, tons of people are certain that Curious George had a tail. He did not. People think Mona Lisa used to have a bigger smile.
What?
She did not. Yeah. Turns out the most valuable painting in the world did not get analog photoshopped at some point. And a famous painting of Henry VIII did not have him eating a giant turkey leg he was at a fucking Ren fair. That's not
ridiculous. That is ridiculous. He's eating his wife's decapitated head like an apple in that photo.
I love the Mona Lisa one, though, because the whole point is that she has this mysterious half smile.
Yes.
Not like, look at that big fucking grin. You know, someone got the D last day.
And of course, there's a big group of people who say things like, you know, for all intensive purposes.
Fuck those people.
I could care less.
Fuck
So
those people.
it's no surprise that the title of the seminal work about middle-aged female sexuality and the fantastic adventures of Carrie Bradshaw in New York City is constantly getting butchered when people call it Sex in the City. It's Sex and the City. Read with your eyes.
Does someone want to break it to Keith that Sex in the City is a wildly problematic show about three unlikable idiots who talk like gay men and has little to nothing to do with female sexuality?
Oh, Eli, you're such a Miranda. Of course you would say that.
Jesus.
Typical. And it's 4, right? Yeah. I am just realizing that show is very problematic after you said that.
And it is 4 people.
He's just going through a montage right now. In his
I'm having,
head.
I'm having a moment. I'm having a moment. Anyway, gonna have to revisit that. So, just for the record, point being, it's also not quantum dark magic that caused people to miss the fact that the bottom half of C-3PO's right leg is silver instead of all gold. People just missed that because, you know, silver stuff looks kind of gold when it's next to gold sometimes. Yeah. And VHS is shitty. Also, the original Kenner brand action figures from the 70s and the Power of Force ones from the 90s were both all gold. Or were they? That's the question.
No, they were.
We'll find out.
I mean, we know already they were. but for those who don't, I guess we'll find out after a little apropos of nothing.
Excuse me, is this the convention?
Yes, you're going to be in the Mandela Room. It's right through those doors.
Oh,
and then,
that's nice. The Mandela Room, like in memoriam.
Excuse me?
In memoriam of Nelson Mandela.
No. Not in memoriam. Mr. Mandela is alive.
No, he's not. He died in the 80s.
Yes, I remember that too.
No, okay, no, he didn't die. So you're going to want to go through those.
Hold on a second. That's weird, right?
Very, very weird.
That 2 people were wrong about the same thing? No, that's not really weird.
I feel like there could only be one explanation. Alternate dimensions.
Alternate dimensions, yes. We must be in a dimension where he died, but we've collided with a dimension where he's still alive.
Nope, that's not what dimensions are. You see, it's
That must be it. We should write a book about it.
We should totally write a book.
Are you sure you're just not wrong? Because people are wrong all the time. It's not really a big deal. It's okay to be mistaken. It's fine.
Let's call the book The Mandela Effect.
I love it.
Okay.
Anyway, I love Nelson in Space Jam.
Oh, me too.
Okay, that's racist.
we're back. When we last left off, I don't really remember, to be honest. Keith, where are we going next?
Interesting. Noah doesn't remember. So that brings us to the higher level examples of the Mandela Effect. And this is where it gets interesting. No, it doesn't. I'll pick up where we left off with Star Wars, the most overrated movie franchise of all time.
Ooh.
Contrary to everyone doing their best, very problematic James Earl Jones impression, Darth Vader never said, Luke, I am your father.
Yes.
He said, no, I am your father. Now, obviously, this can be explained by everyone in the world watching the movie Tommy Boy and hearing Chris Farley get it wrong while talking into the fan to get that Darth Vader voice effect.
Fun fact, Tommy Boy is also the reason why many people mistakenly believe that David Spade was ever funny. So
That is also true.
Yeah, but no, for the record, I would totally make a joke right now about how the thing that you like is also overrated, but you're literally the only person who ever found Tommy Boy funny, so it's hard to pull off. Couldn't be rated any lower.
Damn.
They really nailed it,
It's a
actually.
classic. Should be on the AFI list. And it turns out
better than Citizen
way ahead of
Kane.
Citizen Kane.
I
Yeah.
want to see somebody breaking down the fat guy in a little coat scene. And you see he has the little coat on. It's the little coat that makes it funny.
Because he rips it because he's overweight.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
no,
a
it's
little coat and he's a fat guy. Whatever, Chris Farley's a treasure. So anyway, point is, lots of people get movie lines wrong or dimensional magic.
Which one?
For example, Forrest Gump never said life is like a box of chocolates. He's talking about his mom, and his mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And the line doesn't even make sense. First of all, who the fuck buys chocolates without a flavor map?
Right?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Get a flavor map. Get chocolates with a
Jesus.
flavor map. That's important. Also, the verb tenses don't line up. But most importantly, what changed during her lifetime that allowed her to know what flavor of life chocolate she was going to get as an older person? It's stupid. It's a stupid line. Yeah. But I angrily checked it, and it's true. Life was like a box of chocolates is the line.
That is a very fair mistake, since no one with a functioning brain has ever managed to sit through that fucking movie twice. So it's just
Another misquote is from Snow White, with everyone remembering the Wicked Queen saying, mirror, mirror on the wall. Apparently, she actually said, magic mirror on the wall. And it ramps up from there. This next one made me furious. It's about the song We Are the Champions by Queen.
Oh, the most
And-
overrated song in history. Okay.
It is overrated. Turns out at the end of that song, it does not include the line, we are the champions of the world. And yes, the fuck it does. It absolutely does. But allegedly, I'm wrong. Apparently, Freddie Mercury only added that during their live show at Wembley Stadium in 1986. It's not on the original album from 1977. But the Wembley Stadium version is what they use in the credits of the Mighty Ducks 2. So that's why pretty much the whole world got confused when they were watching Mighty Ducks 2.
Because of the whole
Yeah.
world.
Another fun fact, he thinks The Mighty Ducks 2 is a better movie than Empire Strikes Back. So, take his opinions however you will based on this information.
Just saying, nobody rates the Mighty Ducks 2 very highly. I'm saying
that's
overrated.
true. Exactly. Once again, a film that is rated exactly where it should be.
Yeah, I think they're rated about right.
Okay, the thing is, with the exception of Nelson Mandela, what I've learned so far is that collectively we improve things by remembering them wrong. Like we got an improved Queen song. We got more cheese-related crackers. We fixed a line from a very stupid screenplay. It's Collective Delusion 3, Reality 1. I'm
Yes. That is absolutely correct. So, that being said, I was in a murderous rage after reading about We Are the Champions. But I checked the original. I went back and I checked, and Of the World really isn't there. The song just ends on this giant awkward pause. It's crazy. Just like, no time for losers because we are the champions.
Everybody's leaning forward in their chair. Like, leaning forward, waiting
End of
for it.
song.
and just-
End
yeah.
of song.
Yeah.
That's the end of the song. They might as well be like, ellipsis. It's nothing happens. It's crazy. I was like Roger Rabbit after shaving a haircut. I couldn't deal when I listened to this. Next up, we have the final moments of the Tank Man in Tiananmen Square.
Wait.
So lots of people remember watching video of that guy getting run over by a tank.
What?
That's not how that ends.
But in reality, he just got pulled away eventually. I went back and I watched the video, and that's what happens. It's pretty amazing, though.
Yeah.
The tank actually tries to juke the guy, which is hilarious. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't remember that part, but the tank tries to juke him like Madden. And it's the best because he just very easily stays in front of the tank.
Yeah.
And then he climbs up on the roof to yell at the driver. But then the driver opens the hatch to yell back, and Tank Man's like, sorry, and just runs back down.
Yeah.
And then they had a really long, awkward standoff until some military officials pulled the guy out of the way. He did not get run over by a tank.
You know, them eventually running him over takes the piss out of the entire act of defiance. Why even slow down if that's the case? Just roll him right over.
This next one is perhaps even bigger than Tiananmen Square from a cultural standpoint. Of course, I'm talking about the movie Shazam, starring the legendary comedian Sinbad as a genie from a lamp. I am 100% certain I watched this movie. but apparently it does not exist.
Sinbad actually gets royalties from our collective memories.
Yeah, right.
It's real. It's a real movie. But apparently, no. There's a movie called Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal, but I remember that too. I've seen them both in theaters. I've definitely seen both of those in theaters. In fact, the day I saw Shazam, I got lost at the mall and a really nice old man helped me find my But no, it's just the one with Shaq.
Okay,
Whatever.
That one is actually real, though, right? Shazam with Sinbad is real. Like that's a false.
Thank you.
one?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. There's some sort of scam going on.
It's not. That's what the essay is about.
Or is it, Noah?
You chose the topic of this essay.
This is a
This
real
is
one,
very
though.
much part of the Mandela effect. It's the leading
Shazam
example.
with Sinbad never happened.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree, but
No,
it definitely did.
we won't.
Well, I don't
it's a real
agree with
movie.
you
And
about that. You're
we
just
just have
wrong.
one more big Mandela effect example that needs to be mentioned. In Silence of the Lambs, when Hannibal Lecter met Clarice Starling, apparently he never said, hello, Clarice. And that's a fucking lie. He definitely said that. But according to the Rothschild family and their globalist operatives who rigged the entire internet, he just said good morning there and never said hello, Clarice. It's a lie, though.
Dude, that one has to be wrong. The internet's
Thank
wrong.
you.
Seriously?
Exactly.
No, I think
Seriously?
it was right
Yeah,
on that
no,
one.
I
That
also-
can't be true. It's not.
Hey, podcast listener. What followed is a very, let's say, intense discussion of whether or not this was real, which ended in all of us meeting at a neutral site, equidistant from all our houses, for a watching of the movie. An agreement was made to revisit a new copy of the film on a quarterly basis, just to be sure, and a treaty was signed by all parties prohibiting any acts of retribution by those who were proven wrong.
I'm just saying, how is vengeance retribution?
I said we are done discussing
That's
it.
fine.
Respect the treaty. Respect the treaty. Sorry. Thank you. And that brings us to the pin from the very beginning. There's a giant community of Mandela Effect zealots who are convinced
No. That can't be
that
true.
all these collective false memories are clear evidence that we've collided with a parallel universe. Or maybe a bunch of parallel universes. So, in terms of Shazam, they're pretty sure that a god is running a bunch of simulations and decided to create the universe we know that we're in right now, and then decided to isolate the variable of Sinbad versus Shaquille O'Neal and see how that played out. You can do an experiment.
Cat versus a cat.
I'm saying you could A/B test with Sinbad and Shaquille in the entire multiverse, and that movie would still be unwatchable, man.
Better than Forrest Gump.
This is my favorite part of the whole story. The Mandela Effect truthers have an annual conference and lower level conferences. They have a conference circuit.
What?
One of the biggest events is the International Mandela Effect Conference, or IMEC, and we must attend this fucking thing with Marsh. We have to do that. It's amazing. According to their website, quote, "We come together from many walks of life with a mutual passion to share positive, transformative information about the Mandela Effect. We are artists, authors, and visionaries dedicated to validating people's experiences with the Mandela Effect. At this time of humanity's potential great awakening, we, the the International Mandela Effect Conference unite in mission to inspire, empower, and unify all curious observers. Through the evidence presented as the Mandela or quantum effect, we bring into this phenomenon's own alignment truths which have proven themselves timeless in all religions, spiritual practices, and scientific findings. Together, we go. Together, we grow.
I got to say, I'm with you, Heath. We should all go to this with Michael Marshall, but we all have to register as the brothers Berenstein.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Yes.
So wait. So this is a support group for people who can't admit they're wrong despite overwhelming evidence.
That's correct.
How is it different from CPAC?
You should combine.
You can bring a gun to this one.
Just in case you're wondering about the credentials of the IMEC organizers, don't worry, they're for real. First up, we have Cynthia Sue Larson of realityshifters.com,
What?
where you can learn all about the new science of instantaneous transformation and quantum jumps.
I like jizzbibs.com
We also have
better.
Shane Robinson of
This is great.
Shane Robinson of UOTF.net, which stands for Unbiased on the Fence. Just for the record,
What?
I checked. The .com is available. He chose the .net.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, not for long. It's not.
We also have Jerry Hicks, the Dark Wolf. That's all it says. And
That's his resume, huh?
and that's his resume, Dark Wolfing. And finally, Christopher Anatra, the Quantum Businessman.
What?
is his title?
Okay, that could be accurate, though, because he both is and is not a businessman. And if anyone looks into it, he'll probably die.
He'll certainly collapse anyway. Yeah.
He'll get poisoned by a cat or something. Yeah.
The only thing I learned from that last paragraph, Heath, is that my online presence is far more bland and prosaic than it needs to be. I'm changing everything right now.
So
Is darkwolf.net taken? I'm taking darkwolf.net.
Check
Oh,
that
I feel
out.
like
Yeah.
you should be Light Wolf, and then you could fight Jerry Hicks.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh.
So here's the
Sold.
prevailing theory I found when I checked out the Mandela Effect truther community. They started by collecting all the stupid misspelling stuff we talked about already. And that was convincing enough to create a conference circuit. But they needed a bit more evidence, to be thorough and good skeptics. And that evidence came in 2016, mostly in the world of sports. So in 2016, Leicester City won the English Premier League. The Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA championship. The Western Bulldogs won the Australian Football League. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks won the Australian National Rugby League. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series for the first time since 1908. The UK voted for Brexit, and Donald Trump got elected president of the United States. Therefore, we clearly smashed into another universe.
Okay, yeah, no. That's
You're probably thinking to yourself, okay, the multiverse quantum leap thing does explain it, but why did we collide with a parallel universe?
Yeah, that's
Great
the question I
question.
had.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's the main focus of the Mandela Effect conference circuit. And here's their answer. It was those particle physics nerds in Switzerland with
Sure
a large
was.
hadron
I am
collider.
so angry right now.
If a particle that's, 43 quintillion times smaller than a grain of sand bumps into another one, yes, we learn a bunch of science, but it also creates a rift in the space-time continuum, which in turn leads to minor spelling changes, slightly different song lyrics and movie lines. Sports aren't perfectly predictable anymore like they normally are. People die early, and we get Shazam with Sinbad
because of the particles.
because of the Hadron Collider.
Yeah, and the word different here, like different is just different from what they expected. Like they have a whole convention and belief system based on, man, I thought things would have turned out differently. This is the GOP again.
Yeah,
This is just the
he's
GOP.
going back to the same thing. All right, so if you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Okay, Hannibal Lecter definitely said hello, Clarice.
There's
That
a treaty.
happened. But I will
Treaty.
say this: the secret to the universe cannot involve Sinbad and Donald Trump. I do not accept that.
No.
That is correct. Although, as Cecil's pointing out, I feel like we're ignoring the Treaty of Kingsport pretty early. Anyway,
Yeah.
before we get any deeper into that, are you ready for the quiz?
I'm ready.
All right, Heath. You mentioned briefly that the father of psychotherapy is wrong about everything. What convinced you of this? A, the 25-year-old you dated.
I was in my 20s.
The 24-year-old you dated.
You introduced me to her. That was your friend.
See.
You specifically.
The
was 23.
essay you wrote for this podcast about how the length of your penis is average.
It is technically.
Or D, the fact that you're unmarried and single at the age of 40.
I'm 30. I'm in my 30s. Pass. Stupid. It's a stupid question. It doesn't even make sense. The premise of the question is dumb.
It's true. Correct answer is pass.
All the things, there's so much, there's false information throughout. It's unanswered. The question's unanswerable.
Pass.
It's so mean.
It's the fucking meanest thing, dude. Holy shit.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, Heath, what I learned from this essay is that people are primed to believe things that aren't true if they are repeated often enough, or if other people around them also believe the same untrue things. This seems like a really dangerous error in human programming. Who is responsible? A, Chad and Stacy. B, at least 43 senators are still unsure.
Okay.
I'm going to stop you. It's B.
C, I don't know, but masks certainly won't help. Or D, probably crisis actors.
Oh, no, it's all of the above.
Damn it.
All right. What's the best show about the Mandela Effect, Heath? A, Nell's Sons of Anarchy. B, the Mandalorian. Or C, C, the Departide.
Oh, that's good too. These are so good.
It's so good.
The Depart. C.
It is C. No, it's not. It's not. It's the Mandalorian. That's
You
hard
know
to
what,
say.
Cecil? It doesn't matter one way or the other. After Mandela Orion, you were going to be my
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Well,
No,
then
that's
I
it.
want to choose Tom. How's that?
All right.
All right. Well, for Cecil, Tom, Eli, and Keith, I'm Noah. Thanking you for hanging out with us today.
Great
We're gonna be
essay,
back
Keith.
next week.
I protest
and by
this whole
then,
essay. I protest
Tom is
everything
going
that's
to be
happening
an
right now.
expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear Tom and Cecil do a bunch of Keithan stuff over on Cognitive Dissonance, and it would do wonders for Eli's mental health if you would check out Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, The Skeptocrat, and D&D Minus. Also, if you'd like to help buy enough skeets for all of Cecil's stores, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Swords shouldn't be naked, folks. Donate now.
Hi, Mom. Yeah. Would you mind getting on the phone with Cecil for a second and telling him my name is Heath and not
Keith, I have dinner plans, man. I
know my name isn't actually Heath. I mean my pseudonym. Tell him.
Seriously?
Tell him about that. No,
Come on.
it's Heath. Heath and Heathen, right? It's wordplay, Mom.
That's
it's
not good
with
wordplay.
Heath, but it's Heath.
I'm gonna go. I'm just
It's
gonna
definitely
go.
Heath, though.
I'm gonna go.
Mom, I don't need you to get it. I just need you to. He hung up. Cecil, he's gone too. Okay. Oh, hey.